Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you guys today? Good morning to everybody, all the viewers out there. Thank you so much for viewing these videos we're doing on health and how you regenerate tissue. How do you rebuild tissue in the body? You know, getting away from that treatment-based consciousness, and getting into the health and vitality of cells. And of course, we work with the two fluids that handle the health of those cells. I have got so much to go through today, so forgive me. I'm just going to tear into this. I'm not sure where we are. I think we're one video behind only. I apologize for the video that I had to do yesterday, but some people make say things, and sometimes I try not to get a little unrattled, but I see so much pain and suffering. I see what is going on in the allopathic field that is just unbelievable. We've tried a whole lifetime of giving. We live from week to week here. And yet you have people that are just like that one guy that, that doesn't understand karma, doesn't understand. And I understand that. And that's, I think in today's time, Christianity and all the religions need to focus in on you reap what you sow, cause and effect. Call it whatever word you want. But if religions had taught that more, I think you would have a lot less people hurting people because they know they're going to get it back. You think you get away with something from the law, but when you hurt another person, it's just a universal law. I mean, it's not like a big deal to understand that. And I think it's a good law because it keeps one in balance and check, because in these material worlds, soul could go crazy, and you see some that do. And so it's all karma. It's all cause and effect here. It's in physics we understand that. We understand that in all religions. So anyway, I appreciate you all there, and I know most of you really have a great spiritual insight, and I'm happy about that sort of thing. When I talk about my formulas, again, I don't care if you use anybody's herbal formulas. I mean, I've taught classes in spirituality and health for almost 45 years, and I've always taught botanicals, and so I highly recommend one go to some of these schools. I mean, they're not expensive. Canada has some of the best herbal schools on the planet, tough ones. You've got Emerson, you've got Dominion. Those are two really good herbal schools. And then you've just got a lot of good herbal schools around the world. I think Christopher's is a good herbal school, and you get to go on an herb walk there. So I think there's a lot of good herbal schools, and then you just play with herbs. Look at the herbs I use in my formulas. I have had people start to make their own formulas, but I do consider my formulas to being one of the best in the world, and I think the way I put herbs together is unique. I know Richard Schultz makes those claims too, but if you look at his formulas, they're Dr. Christopher's formulas, and those, Dr. Christopher, I respected the guy. These are people that paved the way. But at each generation, I expect to do better, and I expect you guys to do better than me, really, because that's the whole concept of growth of consciousness, and so. But I do recommend using herbs and herbal formulas. If they're mine, I'm happy, because I know what you're going to get from them. I know the power that they have on you because I've used them for so many years. My focus has always been the health and wellness of each individual that comes to me, and nothing more than that. So thank you all again, and let's go through these because I have a stack. And you guys are keeping me hopping, I imagine there'll be someday I won't be able to get to them all, but for now, this will give us a lot of videos and an archive so you guys can use them. I know tomorrow I meet with a neurologist. He wants to open up a healing school in Sarasota, I guess, or a healing clinic. So we'll see how that goes and what he wants. I'm still working with this project that I mentioned a little bit here. These are big projects, and I really would like to see us all change the scope of the planet. So we could have healing centers around the world. I talked to Bulgaria yesterday. I've been approached by a Bulgarian physician wanting a healing center there at this level of thinking. So Romania particularly as well. So we are trying to infiltrate the world and change the consciousness, and then we don't hurt people. We'll start helping people, and it'll lift the planet up, because when you feel good, you start to have more love for each other. And I think that's the point. When you get away from the aggressive meat so much, and you get into these higher levels of foods, vibrationally speaking, it lifts your consciousness up, and then you move out of opinions and slamming others and stuff like this into love and respect. Centron, yes, my friend. Let me see here. Now, this lady was telling me Balance Beauty Blog. I love some of these names you guys come up with here. I'm talking about this lady that did raw, and then she went full-blown carnivore, meat at every meal, because she felt she had a B12 deficiency. This is kind of strange stuff to me too, that people would do that, because when you eat a diet of raw fruits and vegetables and you go back to being a carnivore, I'm going to tell you, you can feel the difference. There's no one that does not feel the difference. And if you do meat every day, you're going to really lose your kidneys and bladder, and perhaps your colon too. So you would not want to do that. If people want to eat dead animals, then do it once or twice a week. Don't overdo dead tissue. It's just dead tissue and stagnant blood, and everything putrefies, like someone was mentioning, and then you're eating basically putrefaction. But if we put spices on it and stuff, I guess it tastes pretty good for some people. Oh, nasty. Lion Man, beaming super love to you. Listen, I'm beaming super love to you too, man. You're such a great guy. Your comments are just incredible. I just love you all. Your comments are just incredible. The masters, there's so many masters working with each of you guys. Maybe you don't feel them and maybe you don't see them, but they're there. There's a lot of spiritual beings working with everybody right now. And so keep your eyes open, your inner eyes, and you might see some interesting help there for you guys. So it's great stuff. Let me see. Now, this is about the man from India, and I addressed that before, Vikarma, or Vikarma. Yeah, there's nothing like India in my opinion. I think it's just such a beautiful, I love Indian people, just beautiful. I don't know too much to say about it. It's like Mexico. Mexico has so many colors and beauty, and a lot of the southern countries do, and when you come into the States, everything is gray, black, dark, and it's like, bring on the colors, man. I just love, one day I was realizing that men really don't dream so much in colors. Women are always looking at colors and things like that. Males just get up. There's times I found myself at Home Depot and said, oh, I forgot to comb my hair. You just don't, men are like external. Women are more internal. So I was thinking about that. Men doesn't dream in colors. I started looking more at colors. And that night I was working with a master, and he pulled me out of my body and took me to a place in the astral world that the trees were like jewels. And the flowers and the plants were emanating colors and was vibrating. And it was just like a jeweled landscape. And I was moving over the meadows with my spiritual mentor at the time. And it was just like, it was unreal. It was like ecstasy, and I've always seen color in all levels from then on. It was amazing, So it's just that sort of thing with this beautiful thing with the India and your thing here. I just love to that. Just beautiful stuff. Just really beautiful stuff, guys. Keep it going. Tao Te Ching. Lao Tzu. Yeah, I'll tell you, there's so many great spiritual beings out there, it's not even funny. We've talked about that. This is from a 46-year-old female. She's got polycystic ovarian syndrome. Means she has a lot of cysts. Poly means many. So she has a lot of cysts on the ovaries. You see that in the bladder and kidneys, and you see it all through the body now. And and these aren't, amazing to me that medical doctors still are trapped in this illusionary concept of syndromes and diseases and stuff like this, because this is simply your lymph system not moving, honey, through those kidneys. And that's real important you deal with that, because this is interstitial fluids that these cysts are full of, and those are predominantly acids. So then you break down the cells eventually, and then you have ovarian cancer or something. So you really want to get that out of there. She also has hypothyroidism. When you have a gland not working, or that is hypo, meaning underactive, you really want to get into the glandulars. This is the benefit of those glandulars without the harm of, it's in the process of what, man, for those people that eat meat, well, then we're going to take advantage of the glands of the cow so they're not thrown away. So, you can look at it many different ways, I guess. But anyway, when you're that low, use a glandular for the thyroid, and we have several, but use a glandular for the thyroid to bring the whole thyroid up, because the thyroid doesn't just produce T4, it produces calcitonin. So the thyroid has to be, the function has to be increased, the cell's function. This is about the cell and the health of a cell. So when you say thyroid, what's the thyroid gland? Bunch of cells. No matter what that cell does specifically, no matter what it produces, just think the cell, the health of the cell. What does the cell need to be healthy? The same thing a little baby does. It needs to be fed, so we can argue nutrition, okay? But then it needs to be clean. You got to clean those diapers, or you start burning the baby's little bottom. And this is exactly what you have to do at the cellular level. And when you do that, now you can return the health of the cell, because when you're adding nutrition, you're adding so much, especially with the raw foods. It's not just nutrition, it's magnetic consciousness, it's magnetic intelligence, it's energy, and that, of course, wakens up things. If I suck energy out of you, it'll weaken you. When people come in here that's full of cancers, they've been ravaged with chemo and radiation, they can hardly lift their head up, what would happen if I took more energy away from them? That's correct. They'd be taking another trip out of the body. Soul couldn't stay in the body. But if I empower those cells with energy, it's going to wake that body right up, and then soul can stay in it. So this is all about energetics as much as it is about nutrition. Maybe even more so for those that are in the energetic fields. You're thinking beyond nutrition, which is where I think. I think in consciousness and energetics. But for those that need to know more about more mundane levels, then we're down into chemistry. Okay, and we can argue that all day long, but really use nature as your laboratory or your barometer, because nature shows us just how all the other creatures are surviving. And they don't, all these laws of nature just doesn't fit in what you hear most people talk about, like high proteins, complete proteins, all this crap like that. You don't see that in nature. And when you do, like in the cat family, now you have low endurance, you sleep all the time, you stink, you got all these problems. So anyway, get on those kidneys, sweetheart. Take a glandular, pop up that parathyroid. Now, if you look through your case too much, you might find some pituitary here. So my journey to Ra, if you look through your case too much, you might find some pituitary here. So my journey to Ra, get with that Ra, do some fasting. You're doing good here. 10-day juice cleanse, perfect. You're doing really good. I do the lemon juice, much more powerful in terms of pulling tumors and cysts, but it's the kidneys that's your problem, sweetheart, and the adrenal glands on top of your kidneys control that. So you just have to also get those adrenals up, not just your thyroid, get your adrenal glands up. If you don't have higher blood pressure, you probably have low blood pressure. She's trying to lose some weight, so you know that's the adrenal glands. Her period comes very heavy and long. Yeah, you know what? I might be considering pituitary here. The more you're talking like this, that might give me some clues. So you really want to drain this upper head area. If you still have your tonsils, good. If not, then it's even more of a suggestion that you have some pituitary issues. You could use upper circulation to empower the head area a little bit, being a blood area, but I would definitely get down and work with the pituitary, perhaps. We'll see here. I was put on progesterone to stop my cycle. Well, again, you know, with the ovarian cysts, you can surmise maybe that your ovaries are a little, you know, very inflamed, if we could use that word, very acidic, so that could create a hypoactivity, or it could hyperstimulate the ovaries to produce estrogen. However, you know, with the thyroid, you might want to see if you have parathyroid. You might be then suggesting pituitary. So it's not going to hurt if you work on all your glands anyway, and I would suggest it. Particularly the adrenal glands too. That would be very important. Taking this progesterone, though, is going to shut down your adrenals and your ovaries' ability to make their own, and that's not wise. You know, really get into making the glands do it. So I would do the female reproductive formula. This is a good case here where if you're estrogen dominant. I do not make a female formula with black cohosh. It's an estrogenic formula. Most women are estrogenic. I don't want to be responsible for ladies buying my formula in some health food store or something somewhere and having trouble because they're already estrogen dominant, and this is going to increase that problem. So I decided not to make one. All of them out there are just about estrogenic formulas, and that's a takeoff on medical thinking. Mine is more progesterone dominant formula. It gets into the pituitary, balances the pituitary, increases the health of the ovaries and uterus. I like that female reproductive formula. Be careful if you're on birth control, because we have had some people get pregnant taking the female reproductive on birth control. It's that strong. It can also firm the breasts up. It's a strong formula for females, but that one would do you real good as well. And so that's the way I would go, Vicki. You've been good. This other comment, Mr. Moods, I don't know. I don't use that word, at least online. You know, something the who. I don't know. I hope I didn't say that. If I did, I was having a moment of unconsciousness, which is possible. Now, make sure you turn off alcohol in the eye wash. Yeah, you know, I put the eye wash right on in, sweetheart. Put it right on in. I had a biker dude, he just put that eye wash in. I at least put it in some skin temperature water in the eye cup. I had a guy the other day working for me, ran a bush into his eye, and I gave him the eye wash. Next day, couldn't believe it was almost gone. This is the skin again, severe eczema on the face, legs, eczema, psoriasis. You know, it's all the same kind of stuff, really. We've had people with psoriasis head to toe. I had a little. I think she was 19 or so. Maybe even she was younger. I think she was still living at home. I think maybe she was 15. I mean, psoriasis head to toe. When she walked, there was a path of skin that followed her, and she would always rip and bleed. 3 months later, she only had it left in the fingertips. So if you have psoriasis, put yourself in a lot of salt water to help. If you're in where you can get into the ocean, get out in the ocean. If not, use some saltwater baths. But it's an internal problem, and that's your lymph system. So get your kidneys going, get your adrenals up. You can use the skin formula. I would use a couple lymphatic formulas, a couple kidney formulas, and get this opened up, get on the raw. Same kind of issue, the same as everything. And I'm going to keep drawing your attention back to that, and you'll be able to all fix yourselves pretty easy here. But this shouldn't be difficult for you to get rid of, but you do want to get rid of this. This is the precursors of all the basal squamous, all the cancers. I mean, you're holding acids into the system and they're breaking down your skin. You can see that. Thank you, Canadian War God. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I appreciate the comments, guys. I really do here. Let me see. Sustainably green. I appreciate your comment too. What's a water pipe? Well, I thought a water pipe was what you had in the house where you turn on the water faucet and then you got water out of it. Of course, there's the hookahs and all the other good water pipes that you smoke tobacco out of. Or the Gunji Organic Heart. I love these names, you guys. These are good stuff. I love you guys. I know, sweetheart. I love it. Thinking I'm an old farm boy. You're right. You've asked me about schizophrenia before. Like I said, with these type of issues, the two glands I always find involved is the thyroid, parathyroid more aptly, and the adrenal glands. However, you want to always work on the endocrine glands. Those are always the connection to our etheric bodies. In Hinduism, I guess they relate those to what they call the chakras. But these centers are in the human body the vital essence of how all the cells work. Without the endocrine glands, you don't have serotonins, you don't have neurotransmitters, you don't have a ton of these hormones and steroids and neurotransmitters. So that's where one wants to go. And when one goes into the glandular system at the same time, you know that the glands are nothing but cells and two fluids. And therefore, you're going to always think of the blood. So yeah, you're eating raw foods and fruits. Okay, that's taking care of that. And then you're going to take care of the major fluid of the human body. And that's 3/4 of the interstitial fluids. That's the lymph. And of course, that's the acid side of chemistry. That's the corrosive side. There's no question that is the most damaging side to cells. So that's the side we're all having trouble with predominantly. There's some blood problems, no question, but those are by far so easy to deal with as opposed to the lymph system. Hippocrates can deal with blood problems. The lymph system is a whole entirely different system. So thanks for your comment there. POF. I'm not sure I know what that is. I don't know. I don't know a lot of these initials. There's so many out there now. It's like, oh my God. So let me know what that is. I'm not sure I know what that is, honey. I could, just not relating to it right now. And cyber hugs back to you, sweetheart. Okay, this is talking about this fallen arch, and I've addressed this a few times before, but again, strengthening the connective tissue, the skeletal tissue of the body, the tendons, strengthening all this in the human body is vital. You always want to check your parathyroid gland when you're looking at fallen arches, or you're looking at connective tissue or prolapses of bladder and uterus, veins like varicose or spider veins, hemorrhoids, brittle fingernails, osteopenia, osteoporosis, scoliosis, scleroderma. You really want to look at calcium utilization problems of the body, and that's going to take you right into the parathyroid gland. Now, it could take you up here to the pituitary gland. Can't go wrong working on the glands, but just look at that sort of thing. Keep yourself on raw. When you're talking about these bigger issues in terms of tissue prolapsing and stuff, could take you up to a year or more to fix it. But it's worth it, in a year. I mean, once a year on raw foods. I mean, seems like a long time for some people, but in reality, a year out of your life or 2 years out of your life. I tell a lot of our quads and pairs, if it takes you 2 or 3 years, you're in a wheelchair. If you get out in a year, 2 years, I've had people up out of 6 months. I had a little Amish guy, C4, C5, wagon accident, got him up in 6 months. Most of the quads taken me 11 months to reconnect. I couldn't get her walking yet, but I got her reconnected and she was a C3, C4, so that was a pretty high quad. That was an incredible case. But you know, if it takes you a couple of years, you know, I mean, come on, a couple of years out of your life, as opposed to a lifetime of sitting down. Look at this lady with MS. She was up and walking in 7 months. And it'll take her a few more months, you know, to work all that out of her and get her cells back to a state of health. Sure it will. But my God, and look at her husband, the chiropractor. Thank God she's got a chiropractor. He knows the body well, and so he's helping working her right back into that. It's just a great combination there. But we've had people that don't have that advantage of having a hubby chiropractor. We've got them up and walking and brain lesions gone. And this is about regeneration. It would be rare if you could never regenerate your body. I couldn't imagine it other than your attitude and you know, your karma. I don't know, you know, I don't know. You know, when you look at God, it is so huge, and you're so huge, and life is so broad. You know, the problem with some folks, we get captured into this small little drama here in a nowhere place, hung out somewhere in nowhere land, and that suddenly becomes reality when you realize it isn't. I remember, I can't remember which astronaut it was, but he went to the moon, I think, and he was, you know, he was saying, he spiritualized him big time. And he was saying you really change the way you view life when you're sitting in a little bitty space capsule and you're watching Earth go away in the distance. And I thought, that's out of body, man. That's just what it is. You realize that you're the center core of consciousness when you're there. At each level, you can enjoy the drama. Plenty of that. Rosacea, yeah, you got it right on. Acids coming out of the skin, absolutely. Serotonin, melatonin problem, no, not rosacea. But if you do, you know, melatonin, again, get into the pineal gland, get up into the brain for serotonins, brain and nerve, upper circ. There are glandulars for the pineal. Outside of the berries, I don't know that many herbs that are good for the glands. Difficult to relate that and understand that. But yeah, get up in there and take care of yourself that way. Centron, you hanging in there, young man? Well, you know what? You might have some ups and downs, but I applaud you and all of you that are working to help others. I respect that immensely, and that's your spiritual succor. And that there's anything more greater, I think, than the service to all of life is helping others get their health back and their growth spiritually. I think that's the ultimate rush in that, because it bonds everybody to God. This question was about detoxing the kidney and lymph. The herbs used, well, you know, I made, you know, when I talk about herbal formulas, you know, I made them into kidneys. There was a day where we had to put numbers on them because the FDA, and you couldn't put any literature that talked about kidneys near your kidney formulas in a health food store, and then you couldn't label the herbs kidneys. Centron, you hanging in there, young man? Well, you know what? You might have some ups and downs, but I applaud you and all of you that are working to help others. I respect that immensely, and that's your spiritual succor. And that there's anything more greater, I think, than the service to all of life is helping others get their health back and their growth spiritually. I think that's the ultimate rush in that because it bonds everybody to God. This question was about detoxing the kidney and lymph. The herbs used, well, you know, when I talk about herbal formulas, you know, I've made them into kidneys. There was a day where we had to put numbers on them because the FDA, and you couldn't put any literature that talked about kidneys near your kidney formulas in a health food store, and then you couldn't label the herbs kidneys. And I tell you what, now I'm of a suing kind of mind when it comes to the government because, you know, there's a point where you've just got to stop and not let people run over you, including your government. They work for us. They don't own us. They don't control us. They work for us. And so I've changed my attitude on that. And when I see them being criminals, I'm going to hold them accountable because they work for us. And so now I put what the formula is for, but not diseases. I try not to get away from diseases. Medical doctors own that pretty much and let them have it. It traps you into a maze that you can't get out of. And I don't want to step on any medical doctor's toes. You want to treat diseases, treat diseases. But for the health people, health and treating diseases are not synonymous. Health and vitality is scientific. Health and vitality is right to the cell and the health of the cell, understanding the nature of the two sides of chemistry, understanding physics and consciousness and intelligence. Understanding all of this together makes a far greater healer than someone's out trying to chase rainbows and butterflies with toxic, deadly chemicals. We just got to get out of that kind of thinking. So you always, if you're going after lymph, you know, there was only one or two companies years ago that I could even find made anything for the lymph. So I'm going, I got to have something for the lymph. So I made my formulas for me. I didn't make them to sell back then. I only started selling them when other physicians would say, hey, could I use them? And then I thought, well, that's a good, you know, sure. I've always just been a little old practitioner stuck in Moose Jaw, Alaska, basically. Then I got to see the benefit and thinking, wow, this is, and then I realized what the Supreme Being had brought me into. And so then I said, well, you know, but you always use your kidney, your lymphatic formulas. Remember, the adrenals are sitting on top of the kidney for a very important reason, and of course they control the kidneys. So really work on those adrenal glands with that. Dosages for me in herbs has always been a dropperful. Richard Schultz has claimed 45 drops, and he was at 45 drops, you know, probably the most aggressive user of herbs in most of the lands. I say, Richard, let's double that. And in some cases, I triple that. I'm not afraid to use herbs. I've used them for, you know, all these years, and I use them by the gallons. I had this little 74-year-old lady. She only weighed 80 pounds. She had a mastectomy and radiation. Of course, and the radiation gave her aggressive lung cancer. Well, what else is new? That's as common as the sun coming up every morning, of course. And so she got aggressive lung cancer. Well, her husband called me. She was bedridden. So I put her all on raw and these herbs, of course, and there's bloodroot, poke root, you know, there's these real strong toxic herbs, right? So I had her on these herbs. She finally died at 86. Let's see, 74 to 86, 12 years. Aggressive lung cancer, she did not die. I think I've talked about her before. She didn't die from lung cancer. I could never get it out of her, though. Most people, you can get it out. It just stood in her, but we were doing a CAT scan every 6 months. That's like a lot of radiation, so I suppose that was kind of blocking us from really getting that out of her. But boy, did she did well. Matter of fact, she got up out of bed. She was bedridden. She remodeled her kitchen at 82. She ended up putting her husband in a nursing home and then burying him. I mean, it was an incredible case. Now, here's a little 80-year-old lady that I had on massive herbs for 12 years. So when people think herbs are toxic, they have to rethink their thinking. Again, we don't isolate active alkaloids or principles in herbs. We don't isolate them, and I don't recommend isolating chemistry, period. That's a pharmaceutical thing. squamous cell carcinoma, black salve in fruits, veggies. Yeah, I love the black salve. I mean, I don't say too much of it here online, but FDA doesn't like it. One lady made a comment that it took off her nose. Oh, let me tell you something. Black salve only pulls on cancerous cells, and if you're putting it on a big tumor, I could show you a big tumor we pulled one time, and it was this big. John Hopkins had to end up cutting it off, but it was this big. I wouldn't pull him anymore like that. But the lady did save her breast, but still, it was trauma big time. And like I said, she ended up at John Hopkins. So interesting thing. But if a black salve makes a big hole, I guarantee you that a surgeon will take off your face. Because if you have cancer that bad, you're going to have most of your face cut off. And that's the thing. Black salve is really helpful. If you can't get this tumor to move out of the body naturally through the kidneys, and it's aggressive, you want to pull it, or have a lumpectomy, or even have a mastectomy. But the use of chemo and radiation following that is insanity, and any physician that uses it should go to jail. I don't care what. There'd be only a few cases where you would use radiation to reduce a tumor while you're power packing the nutrition in there. And that would be cutting off the breathing in the esophagus or something like that. That's the only time you would use something like that. Other than that, you're just damaged tissue. Now they have the new 3D radiation. I remember a lady came in and did that, and she had cancer of the eye. And they said, we have this new 3D radiation. It'll go right down and pinpoint those cancer cells in the eye. She says, well, I don't want cancer in the brain. Oh, no, this'll pinpoint that cancer in that eye of yours, and that'll be it. Well, she said, okay, I trust you. So she came to me a year later full of brain cancer from it. So this is the sort of thing. Sometimes I don't trust everything the medical doctors say. No offense to medical doctors, but and I think they're lied to too. To be honest with you, I think there's a lot of great medical doctors out there that have been brainwashed in their thinking. I know there's a good neurosurgeon. She's really exposing the truth of these CDC centers and how they've been hiding the real results of vaccines and stuff. And she's got a DVD and everything else. And I love medical doctors that'll stand up for truth. Stand up for truth. Join me. We'll show the world how you regenerate tissue and how you make people healthy again from the deepest of genetics to now. We have to. Let me see. What's our time? Oh, okay. Let's see. That's a question. Fasting. Does water fasting eliminate mucus waste faster than fruits? Well, every time I've water fasted, I felt it more powerful than juice fasting, to be honest with you. However, I do, when it comes to the lemon juice fast, that's up there. That's up there because you've got a lot of astringents there. You've got a lot of energy there. I think in a clinical setting, difficult to get your clients to do water fasting. Easier to get them to do just grapes or grape juice, much easier. So I think in that sort of way, but certainly get out there and try it on yourself. Do a 10-day water fast, and then do a 10-day lemon juice fast, and then do a 10-day grape fast, and see which one you like, and let me know. And let us all know how you came out of that. The secret of that, my friend, is digging deeper into your lymph system, and I can tell you what you're going to find. But report back to us. 10-day water, 10-day lemon, and then 10-day grape. And let's see what you come up with. Yeah. I've been wondering about that for a while. Well, you've been wondering, so you got to do it and let us know. We're all waiting for you. Okay. In your last videos, it looks like you lost some weight. Let me say that out loud. In your last videos, it looks like you lost some weight. I love you, man. Man, my life has been one big, huge stressor. So I'm getting better now. I've got good attorneys now, and I'm getting better. Now, it's how you change your attitude when you're going after criminals. I don't sit and let them come after me. I'm going after them. Oh, hello, Toronto. Let's see here. Canadian War Dog. Casey. It is possible to detox on a high raw vegan diet. You know, you can't handle the blood sugar. You know, when you're having blood sugar problems, there's no question that you need to eat smaller meals more often, even if it's high blood sugar problems. We know that for sure in hypoglycemia or low blood sugar, but it works well with high blood sugar as well. You eat smaller meals more often. If you have to do more vegetables for a while you're working on your adrenals and your pancreas, depending which blood sugar problems you have, I'd work on both of them maybe. And get your lymph system moving, and then move yourself higher into the fruit line. You can always use vegetables first to work yourself on. I will tell you, fruit sugar is the easiest to metabolize and the easiest to use, especially when you're not producing insulin, because fructose does not need insulin. You will glucose load, but at least that meaning that you'll see higher blood glucose levels, but fructose will still be getting carbon to a cell, and that's what's key. No matter what your blood sugars are doing in the blood serum, it's key that you get carbon to a cell. That's essential, or you start losing cells, and then that's when you start to see the gangrenes, the neuropathies, and all this stuff. Added to the fact that your kidneys aren't working and you're not filtering your lymph, blah 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 blah. You've got colitis, which you're almost done with that. Remember, that's the lymph system in the colon wall. So now we're going back to the kidneys and the lymph system. You got your adrenals with your sugar here. Now you got your kidneys. You're not moving your lymph. You got fatigue. There's your adrenals. Acne, eczema, itchiness. Okay, there's your lymph system again. There's your fungus because of the adrenals. So you see, you're going back to your lymph system there, and you're just not your kidneys. You got to work on your kidneys, bro, and your adrenal glands. Yeah, you can have, coconuts, avocados. I love all that. Macadamia nuts, no. I think I addressed this before. I've got to check there, but still, remember, if you need to dig deeper, you've got to jump up into at least the lemons. That shouldn't affect your blood sugar too much. Grapefruit maybe. See where you can go on that, because there's going to be a point where you are going to plateau with the vegetables. If you add more nuts and higher oils, you'll plateau again. You'll reach a point where the body will not be detoxifying any deeper. It's almost like the frequency or vibration of these foods, and they're so heavier in the more concentrated, heavier chemistries, the more acidic chemistries, that the body just doesn't go any deeper. It just like stops it. And that's where you need to get a little more powerful magnetic food, a little more stronger astringent food, and that's where your fruits come in and help you to go deeper there. Meat causes acid reflux. Yeah, think that, JG. I tell you, you're right on. I love your thinking, bro. Good man. Water full of love. Yeah, I addressed that before. I feel for you, bro. I'll tell you what. It's almost like the frequency or vibration of these foods, and they're so heavier in the more concentrated, heavier chemistries, the more acidic chemistries, that the body just doesn't go any deeper. It just like stops it. And that's where you need to get a little more powerful magnetic food, a little more stronger astringent food, and that's where your fruits come in and help you to go deeper there. Meat causes acid reflux. Yeah, think that, JG. I tell you, you're right on. I love your thinking, bro. Good man. Water full of love. Yeah, I addressed that before. I feel for you, bro. I'll tell you what. We come into this place, and it's just. I think we have this false sense of security being on this planet. Let me tell you, this is a warring planet. You know, it just, you never know when someone's going to grab you and cut your head off. Now, this question is, are you saying I should quit taking my vitamins and minerals, multivitamins, alpha-lipoic acid, minerals, vitamin C? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Grapeseed? No, I like grapeseed extract. That I use that in my salves because it goes right into the body there. Excellent, good nutritive source there. But vitamin C is antagonistic to calcium. No way, Jose. Get your flavonoids from your fruits and your berries. All your foods, actually. Your minerals, that's the least available to the human body. Really don't isolate or you'll unbalance your body's chemistry. Now, I've talked about this on previous videos, and I won't get into it because I have a lot to cover here, but taking chemistry in the isolated form only serves to unbalance the body's chemistry. Don't need them. They're the least magnetically alive foods. They'll unbalance chemistry. The herbs are the key. They're all nutritive. Or get a superfood complex. Or if you can't afford that, juice some alfalfa sprouts. If you want to do wheat, okay. Barley, okay. But alfalfa, look at spinach. Look at dandelion greens in your yard. A comfrey, a mega food, and these have specific actions in the human body that make you healthy while you're taking them and getting the nutrition from them. Why spend money for a supplement that can unbalance your body's chemistry and it just came from some chemist? Not smart. Because remember, we have the nano levels now. Well, most vitamins and mineral formulas don't have nano levels, and they're not in ratios that nature has things. Now, this chemist says, well, I think you should have more C and a little more calcium, less of this. I mean, that's a game that doesn't win anybody anything, but costs you a lot of money. And I was detoxing a young lady once, and she was getting this orange stuff out of her skin. And I said, well, that's the sulfur that you have in your bowels that I see. She said, no, it smells like the vitamins and minerals I've been taking for years. And she'd been taking organic, nice vitamins and minerals. So, interesting. How do you get the lymphatic system going as you speak about? That's a good question. Always check the pharmacy out for products if you're interested in ours, or go to your health food store, research the herbs, look at the herbs, read about the herbs, take the taste test. Herbs, you just take the taste test. You know, I don't know how you trust other companies. I know I don't settle for anything less than organic or wildcrafted. I do not make my formulas where you pour, say, 10% of comfrey, 5% of licorice from different bats. I distill everybody together. There's a lot of little techniques that I use too that other companies don't, that empower that formula to work for you, you know. And then we have a 55-ton press. That's a 110,000-pound press. Most herb companies, I think, only use 15 or 20,000-pound presses. But the lymph system is what I've been talking about, my friend, through this whole thing. Nothing but the lymph. That to me, I'm a bottom line kind of guy. You guys probably noticed that by now. I don't mix words, and I try to be nice about it. But bottom line here, we don't have time to mess around with political correctness. Bottom line, lymph is the key, and the bottom line to lymph is astringents and alkaline chemistry. Base chemistry, and that comes in your fruits and your vegetables, predominantly your fruits, berries, and melons. And then you use the lymphatic formulas or lymphatic herbs or astringent herbs like white oak bark, white pond lily, good strong astringents. You'll see that in Lymphatic 4, and you'll see it in my GI Broom. I put astringents in them, and boy, people are going, boy, I feel clean. You know, it's really pulling and cleaning. Just a few more minutes here, but I've got time through today. People didn't show again and called off and stuff. Okay, and that's okay with me. You know, I used to see clients 7 days a week till midnight. Every once in a while, a sensational case will catch the news, and there'll be front page newspapers or news will come in, and then I'm swamped. So I'm doing my best to get to you all. And for those, we're trying, if you really want to get in here in a hurry, get on a waiting list, and they'll try to move you up when someone calls off. But if I can inspire you, which I love this picture of this dog. This is so beautiful. Tora Taurus 604. Well, beautiful, 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 beautiful. I've got a little Shih Tzu, which is chocolate brown. So I named him Coco. He's chocolate Shih Tzu. Cute little thing. I don't know where I've been all your life. Where have you been all my life? JG, I love it, man. Yeah, let's do. Namaste to you, my friend. Let's do wake up this world. I think it's in all of us. I feel you guys. I feel your love, and I feel you. I feel once in a while someone comes in, but okay. But I think the vitalness of this is what we have to do to help turn this world around, because we're off to some beautiful adventures after this planet, I guarantee you. Yeah, this person, yeah, Lucy, you have a friend with very dark black circles under the eyes. Owie. Bad kidneys. Look at Clinton's kidneys. Clinton's got major bags. Of course, you've seen he's already had a heart attack. His hair's white as snow. Poor guy shot his kidneys and adrenals as president. Yeah, well, now, oh, this was saying this was Casanave or something, 23. You were here to see me, I believe, sweetheart. You're from California. Janelle, you sweetheart. You were a delight in every way. You were beautiful. You know, you're about this B12 thing again. I don't even focus on B12. When you're done with these programs, your body does not have a B12 deficiency. You bring up your adrenal glands. I wouldn't worry about that one little bit. I've never seen any of my clients ever worry about B12. People come in on it, they stop it. I've never seen a problem one. I've always seen the restoration of the body's chemistry when you go for health. I have heard some new vegans mention that early man ate meat, however, fruit and vegetables are not wasted, so the minimal amount of bugs then remained on the fruit was consumed. Janelle! Ugh! That's a bunch of crap, Janelle. Now, what is this one here? Hygienists who later on their life changed back to cooked food and animal products because of deficiencies in the raw vegan diet. Oh, you're from New Zealand. Yeah, that's where I want to live. Too bad you don't have better beaches, but I tell you, I would love to live in northern New Zealand. A friend of mine has a lot of property in New Zealand. They bought 68,000 acres. I think you know them because New Zealand had a little bit of a tippy for a while. You know, the Langs. You know, the Langs, Mud and Shania, or Eileen. Beautiful place they had. Mutt still goes there, I think. But anyway, I would like to move to New Zealand. I love New Zealand. People there are just, I feel, I've seen everything. You guys are just the salt of the earth. But I don't know what to say about that. There's nothing deficient in a raw food diet. If you say that there's more nutrition in cooked dead animals and cooked food than there is in raw, it's a misguided, or you were led wrong. Because that's how you get people well. You can't get people well from an advanced case of cancer or MS or anything on cooked dead foods and dead animal foods. So if you can't get people healthy on those, but you can get them healthy on fruits and vegetables, but you're saying that fruits and vegetables doesn't have enough nutrition, you've got to go back to dead animal food and dead vegetable food. You see how that doesn't make sense? I think it's all about desire and conditioning that people get off of this. And stresses, I can tell you stress with me. So there's other reasons, but for your comment in that way, my friend, there's no rationale to that at all. That's an excuse. And I will tell you, it deals with the consciousness. I will say that, changing to raw, you've got to be able to be willing to grow spiritually. Because if you can't be willing to grow spiritually and let go of your emotional desires and your thoughts, they're also obstructions like acids. And at a certain point, you're not going to be able to do the raw food diet because you can't grow anymore. You've reached a plateau in growth, and then you go back and you pick up cooked food again. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's understandable because we can only unfold so fast. We've got to be balanced. So sometimes we go back and forth in growth, because if you broke this down spiritually, this is really all about states of consciousness and your ability or inability to handle more of who you really are and less of the drama or what you've created. And so somewhat difficult for some souls to suddenly have God consciousness. Impossible. And there's some levels, like the Anomilok, or Anamilok, as one subscriber mentioned, that you can't live here and sustain that. I don't care what master you are. You can't sustain those levels and still maintain a physical body. You'll burn it up. You just can't do it. You can understand that level and operate with different levels, but let me tell you, these are very powerful levels. You would have nothing to keep you here. Nothing. Not even the desire to help God. It's just that powerful. So I can understand someone changing off of raw foods because they can't handle the level of consciousness or the level of freedom and self-responsibility it gives them. They're still not willing to let go of their crutches, of their desires and their longings and stuff. So, but it would not be because there's less nutrition in raw than there is in cooked or dead animals. That would make absolutely no rational sense. And in chemistry, we know what happens when we add heat to chemistry. We radically change it. We create this anionic environment. You coagulate chemistry. That's not better chemistry. That's worse chemistry. So, and in physics, you dissipate the magnetics. David Wolf did come out with a book where he showed the auric or Kirlian photography of foods were cooked and raw. Now, he didn't have a lot of samples in there, but I've seen a lot of samples, and there's no way that statement would be accurate. That would be an inaccurate thinking. Nothing any more powerful than raw fruits, berries, melons, and vegetables. And that's where all the nutrition is. I'll read one more, and then I've got to go. And this one is, I just came across your site. I listened for a few videos, and I feel one is, I just had a hysterectomy due to uterine cancer. I have Hep C, venous, is that stenosis? I can't make that out. Blood puddles, a stasis where blood puddles around my feet and lower legs causing infections. That wouldn't be your blood. I don't believe that's blood. I believe that because that would be so dangerous you wouldn't even be funny. You'd be super clotters. That would be your lymph pulling down there. That would be what's infectious is your lymph, because that level of blood toxemia would kill you. That would have to be your lymph that's pulling in your feet because you have kidney failure here. This is why you saw the uterine cancer. That's why you have the Hep C. Whether you have a high viral load or not, inflammation in the liver is always acidosis in the wall of the liver, which is your interstitial lymphatic constipation. And so you're in kidneys and adrenals. And so your lymph isn't moving. You're not pulling it up out of your feet. You're 5'1", you're overweight, so your adrenals. Fibromyalgia, there again. You're systemically backed up lymphatically, sweetheart. You've got acids, all your lymph is backed up in your muscles, and you're feeling that pain, that discomfort. That's fibromyalgia there. This is about your kidneys, your adrenal glands, and your inability to move your lymph, not your blood. That would be something way out there to have that. I believe that's a wrong diagnosis. I believe you have a serious lymph problem here that you got to deal with. Again, that's why the uterine cancer in the first place. And you know what to go. You want to do. Get on your kidney formulas, 2 kidney formulas, get into the adrenal glands, get into your colon, and then super move on your lymph system, sweetheart. You've had a hysterectomy, okay. Now, get that lymph system moving because it's backed up in your liver, it's backed up in your muscles, it's backed up all through you, your joints, and everything else, sweetheart. So you get yourself getting down that lymph system. Get on those fruits, berries, and melons, and maybe a salad at night, and really get moving that lymph system. It'll pull all these acids out of you. Bye-bye fibromyalgia, bye-bye swollen feet and acid burning on the nerves, all of this stuff. Bye-bye all of this stuff, and you'll be good, and you'll be back to a state of wellness. All right, so I got to run, guys. I still have a whole bunch to do, and I have a whole bunch at home, and you guys are getting me, but I'm coming, so just hang in there. Got some good things that you guys need covered here. I got some good stuff to cover with you. I hope these are helping you educate yourselves. They might be a little redundant, but if you'll start seeing the rhythm of this, then you've got it, and then you start working with your people, and you'll have it. This is the best. I found this YouTube to be the best educational tool to help others to grow that there is. My school's 5 days like this, 5 days in a row. We do iridology. But and we do get into the herbs and how to use them more and stuff, and then I give you clients. So those of you that are going to come this year, learn what we're doing here, and you'll be able to be at the top of the class and show these other students just how you cure these people. Because I'm going to give you a bunch of cases, and you got to show me how you're going to cure them. Alrighty, thank you very much. Have a beautiful day. Namaste to you all, love you all, and thanks again for taking your time to view these videos and learn. Really from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Bye-bye now.